For most Americans, the word gypsy brings to mind a storybook character. Dressed in bright, flowing clothes with elaborate jewelry, the American idea of a gypsy is a fantasy. In Romania, there's an entire population of people known as gypsies, though their proper name is Roma. It's a population that has suffered from hundreds of years of discrimination in Romania, and although the government was supposed to make life better for them, the Roma say they have yet to see a change. It's Romania's largest minority. No one knows exactly how many of them live here. Some have no identification papers, others will not admit their race for fear of discrimination. They are Roma, known to many as gypsies. For hundreds of years, they have been the most disadvantaged population in Romania. This is a Roma community in Gherla, Romania. The people here have no running water, no electricity, and many of the children have no clothes. They say nobody knows they're here and nobody cares.
I'm poor. I'm on the streets, and the Romanians have houses. We scavenge for scrap metal, or we buy different things and sell them for higher prices, and we just eat bread.
A Romanian
child has everything he needs. He has clothes, he has everything. We can't offer the same things to our children.
Although these women are citizens of Romania, they live in another world on the edge of town, and they say they aren't recognized as members of Romanian society.
For example, 71% of those who were questioned, they think that the Roma are those who are committed most of the crimes.
Sava Astolos works to stop discrimination against minorities in Romania. His organization, the National Council for Combating Discrimination, plays a big role in the development of the Roma community.
More than 75%.
Before it could be accepted into the European Union, Romania was told to improve the treatment of Roma by offering them better access to public services and by changing the way in which media characterized Roma in the news.
In the past, they identify the citizens like being a Roma or a gypsy, but never identify being Romanian or Hungarian, for example.
Claudia Macaria, a Romanian, directs the Resource Center for Roma Communities in Cluj-Napoca. The center serves as a voice to provide better communication between Roma and non-Roma people.
You could say that in mass media now there are less negative articles towards Roma than before.
The National Council for Combating Discrimination reports directly to the European Parliament. It was one of the organizations that eventually helped Romania to become a member of the Union in 2007. But how much has really changed? The president of the Roma Center, Amare Romența, is Delia Grigore. Even though there are Roma like herself who are well integrated into society, she argues that the population is in the same, if not worse, position than it was before.
Even if we have the National Council for Combating Discrimination, still discrimination is there, even if it is not open. You say that the job, today the job was vacant, tomorrow when you see a Roma the job is no longer vacant. So imagine that is still discrimination on the labor market.
The executive director of the Împreună agency is Gelu Dominica. Through his agency, he works in the development of Roma communities by implementing social programs that target the Roma. He was born and raised in a traditional Roma community.
On the paper, on documents, Romania is considered one of the best models in Europe. In practice, we have a huge problem. So as regulation, it's great. Romania is the only state that put in the parliament one representative for each minority. In reality, they have no power.
Statistics seem to support that the living conditions of Roma remain unchanged, with 40 to 80% living in poverty. But even the Roma who have gotten out of or never lived in poverty have to confront attitudes like these from Romanians they encounter in their everyday lives.
They steal money, they do all sorts of things which are kind of antisocial, I would say. And I'm not very fond of them. Not at all.
The Roma claim that stealing and other such activities which are regarded as crimes and actually are crimes are part of their culture and traditions.
I'm a racist because I don't like the gypsies.
Roxana is a Romanian living in Rome, Italy. There she has felt discrimination. She says that has made her a bit more sympathetic toward the Roma.
I am the gypsy in the Italian. I don't like it.
but she still can't completely overcome her prejudice. Bob Alexandru is the primary candidate of the Roma Party. He says the party has no real political power or affiliation. He instead uses the party to promote Roma culture. Even as a politician and formerly a professional musician, he says he has never been able to escape the racism.
Când părinții vreau să-și înfrice copiii, să spuneți asta, zice, măi, dacă nu ești cu minte, vine țiganul și te bagă în sac.
And perhaps surprisingly, according to Claudia Macaria, many Roma don't complain of discrimination.
Roma are, many of them, so used with discrimination, or they cannot recognize a case of discrimination. They think that this is something normal, something usual.
I would be happy to say that Roma are proud to be Roma, and they fight against the people that look down to them and despise them, but it's not true. Unfortunately, the self-esteem, as I said, the ethnic self-esteem as Roma is very low, and even if the Romanian and the Italian look down to Roma, Roma look up to them.
Of course, there are some Roma who do feel there is discrimination, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are angry at Romanians.
Când pe Iisus Hristos l-a crucificat, ce-a spus? Iartă, Doamne, că nu știu ce fac. Așa-i? Ei, țiganii, pe călăii lor, dacă aș putea spune eu, nu spun că nu sunt călăi, de oameni care i-au lăsat deoparte și nu i-au luat în considerare, ei laudă și spun lucruri frumoase.
The Roma share the same rights as other Romanian citizens, and now that Romania is a part of the EU, they can move freely across European borders. Just like Romanians, a lot of the Roma have decided to leave, and many have gone south, to Italy. This place is called River Village. It used to be a campground for Italy's tourists. 5 years ago, it was converted into a community for Roma to get them off the streets.
A lot of people come here to looking for a best life than there, for the children, for the family.
And did you find a better life here?
Yes, better than Romania, yes.
These Roma live in a very isolated area on the outskirts of Rome. This community is one of many in Italy that is made up completely of Romanian Roma.
There are a lot of things that we have here and in our country, no.
Alessandro Pistacchio works with this community on behalf of a cultural mediation group. He says the Italian government placed them here to be hidden from tourists. The majority of the people here say they are happy, despite the fact that relations between Italians and Romanians have become very tense in the past couple of years.
Actually, there is no a good idea about gypsy for most of Italian people.
The discrimination against Roma in Italy reached an all-time high in 2007 after an Italian woman was killed by a Romanian Roma. Since then, many Romanians complain that Italians have placed Romanians and Roma into one big category and labeled them all criminals.
Sadly, I believe they're the worst ambassador that a country could have, and they create this dark image of Romania abroad, and because of them, everyone abroad now has gotten to think of all Romanians as gypsies and use all sorts of offensive slang. But when we say it, when we recognize these people as being just the bad part of our society, we are seen as racist.
We will never be equal between us. Never. Respect the diversity is different. I must have in mind that myself without you, it's hard to exist if we will not exist. It's better to share our experience in order to understand ourselves better, in order to survive, to have a better environment. Yes, this is possible.